much, and welcome to Miami, Alabama, 52-24 over the Buckeyes as the Crimson Tide captures its 18th all-time national championship, the most of any school. Dave Revson, Gerry DiNardo, Urban Meyer, and guys, first of all, hats off to Alabama. That was an awfully good team that we saw out there today.
You know, Coach, you mentioned they had 3 Heisman Trophy winners going into the game and the Joe Moore Award for the best offensive line in the country. I think they lived up to all those awards.
Yeah, that was the first time we got to see them up close and personal, the explosive players that they have. You know, you could see early in the game that the longer this game went, you know, I think they punted twice, one right at the end of the first half, and it was just the skill set of the offensive players at Alabama. That's as good as I can remember.
It's overpowering. I mean, it is, to be honest, watching it in person, it's somewhat awe-inspiring how good that offense is. 621 total yards, the second most Ohio State's ever given up, the most since 1980, and yet they were right in the game, guys, in the second quarter. So 14-14 game, Baron Browning made an unbelievable play, the strip, the fumble recovery, took it in the end zone. And then from there, it felt like it went downhill. What happened from 14-14?
Yeah, they really weren't. You know, they really weren't. You know, they had a great turnover. They punched it in. It's 14-14. But if you're sitting here watching it like we were, they weren't stopping them. And you could see the transition, the line of scrimmage change in Najee Harris. But when the skill guys, and the guy that you don't talk about much is Mac Jones. He's a very accurate passer, and he's got acrobatic receivers. Go to think Devontae's the number 2 receiver on that team.
Right.
Say that slowly. Devontae Smith's the number 2 receiver on the team. So, yes, the scoreboard said 14-14, but we're all here. It really wasn't.
Yeah, and then it got worse at the end of the first half. I mean, it's 28-17. Ohio State can't do anything. There's about 2.5 minutes left in the game. Alabama scores, so it's 35-17, and Alabama receives the second half kickoff. They kick a field goal and a touchdown their next 2 possessions. And from that point, we're just watching.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I agree with you, Urban. I mean, I don't think there was really ever a point where you felt like Ohio State had the upper hand in any way in this game, right? That very first possession went 3 and out. And we talk about this a lot in the build-up to this game. You weren't going to be able to have many empty possessions, and just too many. You know, after that 14-14, they had 2 straight 3 and outs. Ohio State did, and you just can't do that against a team like this.
And then they were in a deep red zone, and they kicked a field goal, and it was the right decision because it was 3rd and 10. They tried to throw it in the end zone.
Fourth and goal from the 6.
Yeah, and it was the right decision, but you knew field goals aren't going to win the game.
Yeah, our conversation all week was 4 to 5 stops.
Right.
This game could have went on for another hour, and it would have. I mean, that's how good they were. And I thought, you know, give Ohio State credit. They fought as hard as they can. The defensive secondary was undermanned. You know, you could just see it. Shaun Wade, Sevyn Banks, the safeties, Josh Proctor, and they just, you know, I think they got to grow up. You know, you're going to lose Shaun Wade. Sevyn Banks comes back. The safeties have got to get a lot better for Ohio State.
Yeah, it was a difficult second quarter, that's for sure. I mean, that was clearly when the game was determined. 28 points in that quarter for Alabama. Just the 3rd time in the last 60 years the Buckeyes have given up 28 points or more in a quarter. And at that point, it was Katie bar the door. That's going to do it for our initial thoughts here from Miami, but plenty